This is KGW News at Sunrise.
We're going to start this hour of Sunrise with a health warning in Washington County, where officials are still trying to figure out the cause of an outbreak of Legionnaire's disease. Plus,
we want to get to a place in Portland where nobody dies on our roads because of a lack of transportation infrastructure.
some of Portland's most dangerous intersections are getting a makeover, so we're going to show you some of the steps that are being taken right now to improve safety in the city. And we're also just 2 days away from Halloween. That's right, Rodney Hill. Halloween is a-coming. All right, we'll have more from Rodney, and we're also going to introduce you to this local woman who is all about the Halloween holiday. It is a Friday morning on Sunrise, and apparently Brenda and Nina are all about the holiday too, because they're taking an extended weekend.
Yes, they are. It's just the boys, as they say. It is a wet start to our day. Take a look at the radar. This has been widespread rain overnight, and if you do have plans to drive up to Seattle, that's where they really got hit with some driving rains at times, as much as 3 inches falling up to our north. It's steady here locally, as I mentioned, some heavier rain up in Astoria right now. There's Portland, Salem, up through Longview. It's all rain on I-5 coming into the city. Very wet conditions from the top of the Wells Fargo building. 54 degrees is the early morning number. So it's steady rain at the bus stop. Be dressed for that. 52 degrees. At noon, though, it's dry. In fact, it could be dry by 10 o'clock this morning. 56 degrees and a nice afternoon coming. Some clearing expected. High temperatures around 58, 59 degrees. Drew?
All right, more Rodney in about 8 minutes. But right now, we want to get back to that top story we mentioned right at the top of the hour. Several cases of Legionnaire's disease have popped up in Beaverton. And so far, health officials aren't exactly sure how or where it started. KGW's Alma McCarty has more from Washington County.
Under investigation in Washington County, a Legionnaire's disease outbreak with no known source.
It's just another thing, and it's really close.
Health leaders narrowed it down slightly. Dr. Christina Baumann, health officer for the county, says the 6 total cases were reported within the last week in people living within 2 miles of Murray Boulevard and Shoals Ferry. Ages range from people in their late 40s to early 80s.
It would be a lot easier to pinpoint a source, say if everybody lived within the same building or had some sort of shared exposure that came to light early. Right now, the current pattern of cases doesn't suggest that there is, for instance, a common cooling system or that the drinking water is contaminated.
John Kawaguchi is part of the environmental team investigating the outbreak's origin.
We look for commonality when we're interviewing cases or those that are ill. And so we're just gathering a lot of information right now.
It's a complex process, but once they find the source, teams can flush out the system to mitigate the issue. But for now, the unknowns are unsettling for neighbors like Sarah Duffel. She immediately alerted her parents, who also live in the Murray Hill area of Beaverton.
They're both in their 60s, so it's very scary to know that that's around where they are at, and that they are more susceptible to those things. It scares me very much.
Legionnaire's disease is a severe type of pneumonia caused by naturally occurring bacteria that thrives in warm, stagnant water.
It can be plumbing within a building. It can be a large cooling system. Other implicated sources can be hot tubs, spas, water features, fountains.
For now, county officials want to get the word out. If you have flu-like symptoms and you've been to or live in this location, seek medical help early. The disease can be treated with antibiotics.
That was KGW's Alma McCarty reporting. OHSU is also in the news this morning because of an unprecedented capacity crunch. OHSU is having to send patients to other hospitals right now. In a letter to staff yesterday, the hospital said it's seeing more patients than ever before in the ER, and there's also a critical lack of ICU beds. A spokesperson with OHSU tells us there are several reasons for this capacity crunch. They're dealing with a high number of COVID patients, for one. They're also seeing a lot of transfers of non-COVID patients from around the state. Plus, people that may have deferred medical care during the pandemic now need even more critical care. And on top of all that, they also have a staffing shortage. So some patients may be diverted to other hospitals and some surgeries may have to be rescheduled. The Gresham Police Department, meanwhile, is also facing a staffing shortage, and the president of the police union is concerned that the price to pay for that shortage will be public safety. Right now, the department is down about a dozen of its 127 allotted officers, and even more are expected to leave here in the coming months. So this leaves the department stretched thin in patrol and in investigations. Thomas Walker of the police union says Gresham PD plans to plug these holes by disbanding the neighborhood enforcement team, the traffic unit, and the transit division.
And if we don't have people that are out there doing, active DUI enforcement, we know that that could be disastrous. DUIs kill people.
This will pass. I am confident that we will be able to get back to full staffing. And I think public safety as a whole nationwide will see through this, and we will overcome it.
The second person we heard from there was Gresham's police chief. He says he plans to focus on recruiting new officers, but he also wants to make sure he keeps the officers he already has. All right, a major milestone for the state of Oregon is up next here on Sunrise. 80% of Oregon residents 18 or older have now had at least one dose of the COVID vaccine. According to the Oregon Health Authority, that's more than 2.6 million people. And 63% of the state has been fully vaccinated at this point. So that means out of all 50 states in the country, Oregon ranks 12th in terms of percentage of residents who are fully vaccinated. Meanwhile, 30 of Portland's most dangerous streets are getting some much needed safety improvements. Devin Haskins explains some of the changes that are already in place.
The city says Southeast Tollgate is among its most dangerous streets in the city. And where it meets at Southeast 92nd, you've got what the city says is an intersection of two high crash corridors coming together.
In the last 5 years, 2 people have been killed at this intersection and 49 people have been injured.
PBOT installed new signs recently letting drivers know of the dangers here.
A lot of times people don't pay attention, but if they see that this is a high crash intersection, we're hoping that people pay more attention and actually will drive with more caution.
These two streets are among the 30 represented in orange on this map the city labels high crash corridors. 53 people have died in traffic-related crashes in Portland this year. PBOT says that's an increase of 17% from last year. In June, the City Council approved $450,000 to be used for safety improvements.
But what that really does is really accelerate those investments that we might make over a number of years, we can do in one construction season.
Improvements like placing no parking signs at 350 intersections to keep cars from parking right up to the intersection.
For both pedestrians and automobiles that are coming out onto a high traffic street like this, it's really hard to see if cars are parked all the way up to the curb.
And then there's the 20 leading crosswalks, where the walk signal lights up first before cars get the green light.
We want to get to a place in Portland where nobody dies on our roads because of a lack of transportation infrastructure.
Commissioner Joanne Hardesty says she hopes to secure more funding in the next fall budget process. In Southeast Portland, Devin Haskins, KGW News.
Well, I feel like he was just here standing next to me a moment ago.
Yes.
But about 8 minutes have passed since we last saw Rodney Hill. What do you have for us right now?
Yesterday, my goodness, 71. That was
the high yesterday?
In Salem. Portland hit 69. I forecasted 66. I think Scott Poose, you folks hit 70 yesterday. Crazy.
So 66 was in your forecast and we hit 69.
Yeah.
Could you be more accurate today, please?
Trying to be. We have rain out there right now.
Good luck, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Here's a look at the rain that has come down just since midnight. 35/100s in Portland, just a 10th in Salem, 21/100s in Astoria, more down in Newport. Again, we had some rain last evening. So altogether, downtown Portland's had just over a half of an inch of rain since it all started last night. This only shows 51/100ths in the gauge since midnight up in Seattle, but there are multiple reports of 2, even as much as 3 inches of rain in some of those pockets, and they have some flood advisories posted for our neighboring city up to the north. All right, here's the fetch of moisture that brought us the clouds, the warm weather, and eventually the rain that we're now getting. So you can see it's still lined up all the way back up off the coast of Washington. So this will be a steady rain through a good chunk, if not all, of the morning commute. Here we are right now. Nothing stormy, just pockets of raining pretty good and then light rain, but everybody's getting some steady precipitation. Futurecast 8 o'clock this morning showing we have some clearing taking place coming in from the northwest. Story's drying out, Longview starting to dry out. I think 10 o'clock, give or take, is still a good time frame for most of this rain to be exiting and moving east out of the I-5 corridor. So Portland, Salem, somewhere around 10 o'clock, we think will start to dry out. Then it goes on to be a decent afternoon and a nice night with some partial clearing, and then eventually we could just clear out tonight. Here are the current numbers. By the way, still a south wind, 67. These are current numbers. In Pendleton, 60 in John Day. It's 62 down in Eugene, for crying out loud. All right, 7-day forecast. Here we go. With all that said, Portland will be in the 50s today, about 59 for high. Drying out later this morning. A sunny weekend expected. Temperatures will be about 60 both days. Some chilly nights, but should be nice for Halloween. And that is your forecast.
All right, more Rod coming up on the show in about 8 minutes, but we are going to take a quick break here. When we come back, we have this story on the show, talking about the lack of people visiting Portland, which is not really a surprise right now, and city leaders say they're not shocked. But we're going to break down the latest report from Travel Portland. First, though, we have this story from our Verify team. Because it is almost holiday travel season and people are hunting for those cheap flights, our Verify team looked into the viral claim that the airport is the best place to buy your plane ticket. Is that true? We'll let you know right after the break.